Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. As always, coming to you from the Pizza Ranch studio. Pizza Ranch with 7 locations across the state of Missouri and hundreds across the country. And we appreciate them being our title sponsor of the interviews. Also presented by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations across 6 states. Great Southern Bank that cares much about your money as you do. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. Also presented by Burgess and Associates, Chevy dealers of the Ozarks. And we go north once again, and welcome back in to the studio, Staley Falcons head coach and Class 6 state champions, head coach Chris Neff. Coach Neff, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Coach, you got to tell us about this run. We visited throughout the season. You're 30-2. You got a senior class that's won over 100 games in their career. Talk about this season and what it meant to you and the Falcons.
Well, it meant everything, and it was a culmination of 4 really strong years from a group of kids that have been really integral in our program and really building the culture. They came in after my third year here, and obviously they were sixth, seventh, and eighth graders at our middle school, so we knew of them and we knew what the potential was, and we were excited. And they blended in with a group of seniors that we had that were our fourth year of existence. So this group of seniors, their freshman year was our fourth year. So that was the group of kids that we pretty much groomed for 4 years, being a part of the Staley Falcon basketball program as we owned it. And it was a perfect storm. That good, talented freshman group, along with kids that had been in our program now 4 years, we made the Final Four in 2020. And just having won this year is really just a culmination of 4 really incredible years with some really fun kids.
Coach, talk about that group of seniors, in particular, and I got to sit alongside them and watch them, at the Tournament of Champions, and also get to view at the Final Four. But just a tremendous group of athletes.
Yeah, they possess a lot of the qualities that you love to see in any team you cheer for, because they run fast, they jump high, they're skilled, and they're just really good at the sport that they play. But at the same time, Larry Parker is our student body president. Kyan Evans is one of the leaders in our diversity council and has headed a bunch of pep assemblies and rallies that we've had. Caden Fish is a member of our student leadership team, and he's done the same, where during the football season and in the fall season, he grabs the mic and runs our student body parades and all of our pep assemblies and such. It's really an amazing group of kids when you think about all that they do outside of basketball for our high school. So yeah, them being athletic and good at hoops is fun for me, but they're really special in a lot of regards.
You finished the season 30-2. Take us back. Obviously coming into this season, having gone to the Final Four a year ago, knowing what you come back, the expectations were there. Was there a point during the season where you really felt like, hey, we've got an opportunity to win this? And maybe it's coming out of the Tournament of Champions. You get that experience of playing on that floor that you're going to play on, in the state championship game. At what point during the season did you kind of feel like it kind of switched and you had a shot?
We've thought about having a shot to win it since March of 2020. We've just had really good teams that have been considered good by rankings in the state. And, we travel pretty well and get around to see quite a few teams during the summer months and into the season, where we know what's out there and we know what we possess and we know how prepared we're going to try to be. So been thinking about it for quite a few years. I think the Tournament of Champions and some of the trips we took in January with regard to the Highland Shootout, playing East St. Louis and going to Quincy and playing a couple really formidable opponents there, and having had the overtime game against Vashon in their gym. And I just think it was pretty clear that it was available to us to have a shot. And that's all you can really ask for, is just a chance at it. We were going to be in an incredibly tough district tournament. So, that was something that was always on our mind, to make sure that we were as well prepared for that as we could, and then venture out into Central and Southeast and Southwest Missouri to find our next opponents. So we were just really fortunate to have had a chance at it. So, and we talk about it a lot. We 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 have conversations about state title hopes.
Going back to that district championship with Oak Park, uh, maybe a game, probably the best game or most challenging game you played down the stretch in order to get into the quarterfinals. Take us back to that 7-point win over Oak Park.
Well, that's obviously a team that's in our school district. We have 4 high schools in our school district, so I mean it just lends itself immediately to being a rivalry game, and so much familiarity between the players and coaches and the things that we each do. We had played December 15th, which was many moons prior to that confrontation in the district, and we won by 28, 30 points and shot and played really well. So it wasn't going to be like that. And we knew that going in, and we were prepared for that. But it was an awesome game and an incredible environment. And we were fortunate enough to get it going late and pulled away. But that's a really, really nice team. I mean, they lost 2 games all year, and they were to us. Um, I think they'll have every opportunity to believe they're going to be able to do the same thing again next year.
Then you get coming through the state championship Final Four. You get Jackson in the semifinal, and then a Kickapoo team that you played in the Tournament of Champions. And it's always hard to beat a team twice. You went through it with Oak Park, and now you've got Kickapoo that you've got to beat twice, and you're playing Kickapoo kind of in their hometown. Um, talk a little bit about the prep going into that contest and what the game was like. You're down 4, I believe, at one point of the game, 25-21, maybe midway through the second or third quarter. But what was that like in that preparation and then having to kind of turn it on there?
The best thing for us is the conference we play in. The Greater Kansas City Suburban League is a home and home league. You got to play everybody twice, so that's big time, and that lends itself to the best preparation because I'd like to think some of the best coaching happens in the biggest class. Those jobs are pretty coveted, and people that go after them generally deserve them and have worked hard to get them. So we're going to be up against some great coaching and probably some of the best athletes that the state has to offer. And if you play them once and you see them 3 weeks later, things are going to change and you're going to have to go through some adjustments. So that is huge for us. Park Hill was a state ranked team all year. Park Hill South spent time in the state rankings. They're both in our league. Liberty is exactly who they are. They're traditionally a basketball power. And then you bring in the likes of Lee Summit and Lee Summit North, who are in our league, that we were having to be ready every night. And that was really good for us to prepare for what was the district championship game against Oak Park, and then that state championship game against Kickapoo, where we had played before and there was familiarity and there was an opportunity for Coach McHenry to get his troops ready to go for round 2. And he's as good a coach as there is in the state of Missouri and probably the entire country. His scouting and his preparation are hands down as good as anything we see. I know watching them play Troy, and Troy runs what is near 1 million sets offensively, and Coach McHenry and his kids sniffed them out and knew every one of them and had a plan for every single option. So that didn't bode well for us and put us back in the drawing board and spent tons of time in what was a less than 24 hours getting ready for them at 2:00 on Saturday. But unbelievable game. Tons of respect for their players. They possess a lot of the things that trouble us. Great shooting, unbelievable execution, a level of toughness that is unlike so many other high school teams. They're just mentally and emotionally and physically tough and well coached. So yeah, the Kickapoo game was the true state championship game. As much as people want to believe that maybe something along the road was, or some other opponent posed the same threat that Kickapoo did, I say no. Kickapoo was clearly the runner-up in the state.
Coach, You win the state championship. Who's the first person you heard from that was not at the game?
Well, I'd have to go scroll through quite a few texts. Um, there's so many people. Jay Blossom is a guy that I coached with for 5 years at Webster Groves, and who I own a camp with in Snow Valley Basketball School for the last 18 so years. But that's probably my best friend in coaching that I don't work with directly at the high school here. And yeah, he was pretty happy for me. I've been knocking at the door for quite a while, and he's always won them. And this year we kind of switched roles where he took second and I took first. So it felt really good to have his, just his praise.
You get back there to Staley. What's the atmosphere been like? I understand you're probably on spring break right now, so maybe the
Mm-hmm.
student body isn't around, but just in town, what are the emotions like?
Oh, it's it's been really good. Quite a few people, high fives and hugs. Anytime I see the kids on the team, they refer to each other as champ now. Hey, champ, how you doing, champ? This, that, and the other champ. So everything's champ. And you know, I I've been really fortunate. I've gotten to spend quite a bit of time with my family. My daughter that's in college was home for the tournament and able to spend some time with us. And my junior son and I were awful close, and he's a part of the team, and we've been spending quite a bit of time here together now that we've had some days off. And then, like I say, my wife and I have a little 6-year-old too that has kept our family so close, and it's just been really fun to be on spring break. As an activities director, I've been to soccer games, baseball games, track practices. I saw our baseball team off to Arizona on a big charter bus the other day. So it's been really fun to just be around people that are happy for us and congratulatory time together, and just it's been wonderful.
As you kind of decompress from this and look forward to next year, um, obviously you're losing a tremendous senior class. What's the scheduling going to be like? Have you even looked at that yet? I know we're just 3 or 4 days out of a state title, but what are you working on right now for next year?
Right now, we're making sure all of our guys are on teams. So the spring, summer months, and all the club sports or club season that they play with regard to AAU basketball, that's kind of been a level of focus just to make sure they're all a part of something if they want to be a part of something. And that, my coaches and I are doing quite a bit to schedule the month of June and into July so that we're ready to go with building their bodies and making sure that we have some competition ahead of us. And like you said, the 23-24 basketball schedule for the months November to March. We're working on that as well. Quite a few neat things that are going to go on for us because of what we've been able to do over the past few years, that just opportunities that are afforded by having good players. I love my next team. Like I truly, I'm so excited to coach them. They've been practicing against state champions for, quite a few months now, and they have their days. Like they have some really successful days, so it bodes well for us. Truly excited about two kids that played big minutes for us this year, and Xavier Wilson, who's a sophomore, and KV Stone, who's a junior. That add them to my son and Tavian Tate, who played a pretty large role in our junior varsity squad and into our varsity games when needed. And then a host of young kids that are up and coming. So really, really excited about our future. And we talk a lot with the senior class. They tend to pick on those kids about what are we going to do when they leave? Well, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing.
Very good. Well, Coach, I know the food's got to taste a little bit better. You got to get a little bit better sleep. I mean, and this isn't going to wear off for a few months, I'm sure.
No, it's exciting times, and still lots to do. There's school ceremonies that are coming up when the kids get back to school from the break, and then we got to pick out a ring, and we got to get some T-shirts, and got lots of things to organize and spend time together with the banquet and such. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make it last as long as I can.
You bet. Well, Coach, I greatly, as always, you've been very gracious with your time here in the last couple of years since we started the Missouri Sports Network, and I really greatly appreciate you on a spring break coming into the office and getting on the Missouri Sports Network.
Well, we appreciate you guys and how you grow and promote our game. So thanks so much.
You bet. Class 6 state champion, head coach of the Staley Falcons, Chris Neff. And you're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where, as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.